This podcast is brought to you by Balancing Act. Teach, coach, mentor, inspire. A collection of candid observations on the challenges facing business leaders today. Balancing Act is authored by Dr. Andrew Temte and is available today on Amazon and other fine bookstores. We sat down with oil and pastels artist Anne Solyst. We explored this artist's work from unique hybrid animals, which can be striking and humorous, to realistic nature-themed illustrations. We touch on creativity and COVID and getting back into the art fairs. You can find more conversations, food reviews, live music, and events on our website, lacrosselocal.com. I'm Amy.
And I'm Brent.
And this is Lacrosse Local.
My name is Anne Solyst. I was born in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I moved to St. Peter, Minnesota, and then eventually to La Crosse. And I got into art. I have always loved art. I've always wanted to be an artist. We have like those elementary school papers of like, what did you want to be when you grow up? And I have artist written in there. So my mom's a graphic artist, so that's probably part of my window into the arts, but it's always what I've wanted to be.
I just recently saw you at Artspire, and I'm sure it's nice to get back to the different festivals and events to vend. You know, I noticed everything from oils to pastels. How do you choose those mediums? What draws you to them?
Yeah, I think going back to the idea that I've always wanted to be an artist, oil is such a classic medium that growing up, realizing a lot of these artists I admired painted in oils, it was kind of the default in my brain that I would paint in oil. The pastel was a little bit of a different journey. My degree, I graduated with a degree in oil painting, but after graduation, I didn't really have a great space to work. I was dabbling in this old box of hard pastels that actually was my mom's when she was in college. And I was sitting at a show showing my oil paintings and just sort of dabbling away, sketching by passing some time while I was sitting there. And somebody came up and bought the piece that I was drawing, and none of the oil paintings sold. So I at that point in my life, when I didn't have a ton of space to do the oil painting, I didn't have a lot of ventilation, I didn't have as much time as I did in college. It was it kind of clicked as a good transition at that time to start thinking about something a little bit more portable, more saleable.
Your work with these sort of these hybrid animals, you know, to me they're really striking. I mean, they're trying to explain it, I guess, and you'll do better than I would. But, you know, they're striking, they're humorous, they seem realistic. What made you go this route, combining these things from, you know, I got down there, I put down name titles of some of your work, like the Octobun, which is a bunny and an octopus.
Yeah.
Or a flutter pig, which, you know, you can explain, but.
Yeah. I call those ones the creatures. Yeah, and the flutter pig, it's this big, you know, farm pig. It's very cute, and then it has just these little tiny butterfly wings on it. The creatures I got into pretty organically. I had been doing a lot of just regular animals. I was getting maybe a little bored of them. And there's always a fear if you are, you know, making something and it's going well, there is kind of this fear of branching out or doing something weird and different. So I drew a jackalope just to see how it would go, and it went over well. So I eventually added more and more of the creatures, and now those are really what sells well, and the regular animals kind of sit around for a while. As far as the inspiration for which animals to mash up or any of that, I do love having a sense of humor with them. I don't think good art has to be serious. I think it's okay to make something that's real art and for it to be whimsical and fun and enjoyable. Yeah, so I try to have a sense of humor with it. I usually start with one animal, one thought, so a rabbit, and I just consider what would be either complementary or contrasting. So take something cute and approachable like a rabbit, and then adding tentacles, something kind of scary and odd onto it, kind of sort of both highlights what we appreciate about rabbits and then also makes it less approachable or just harder to wrap our brains around. I've had people walk into my booth and they have just a really confused or a blank look on their face for a couple minutes, and then eventually they start to smile, and they start to engage, and they start to point and look, and like call their friends over. But it's fun to see the wheels kind of spinning when people approach my artwork, because as you said, it's pretty realistic. So in some ways, I know a lot of other fantasy type drawing is realistic. It's very detailed, but it almost has a very graphic look to it. Whereas my pieces have a lot more of a natural history kind of feel to them. But they're fantasy.
For someone who hasn't seen it yet, and I'm sure they should check it out, you have what you talked about, the half rabbit, half octopus right next to, a very realistic, beautiful cardinal on your website. That's just like a traditional, something you'd see, that's just like a real realistic picture of an actual bird. And then when it kind of complements it with this kind of out of the ordinary additions, it just makes it kind of fun. So how has COVID affected you? I'm sure, just talking to you when I had a brief time to talk to you and I bought one of your paintings, which I just found out the backstory, which you call it, I bought one that's a sheep and a dolphin, I believe, called the sheep fin.
Yeah.
Going from things like these different festivals and vending, how has COVID been for you? Was it stifling in any way, or does it give you an opportunity to work? Or
it's been both of those things. It was hard to not show my artwork. One of the things I love about being an artist is seeing people interact with what I'm making. And so having those art shows is really fueling to see people and to sell artwork and just feel like get that momentum to keep creating. But also in other ways, it did give me the time to keep creating or to start new projects. So I started a YouTube channel during COVID. My husband and I started a blog during COVID, and both of those can be reached through my website, which is annsolyst.com. So AnnSolyst.com. So that was really great to have that time and space to start some of these projects that have been kind of on the back burner. But again, it's really great to get out and to show my art and have people in person reacting and responding with my artwork again.
So, just kind of your reference there, getting back to the art fairs. What else is next for you? What are you excited for, in the years coming up?
Yeah, I'm really excited I've been working on pastels for a long time, and I'm excited to start bringing oils back into the mix. So during COVID, one of the things that I had time to do was explore more classical realism in my oil painting. And this involves like some different kinds of techniques, older techniques that people, in the Renaissance up into the 1900s, practiced a lot. And I'm just excited to continue to build that series. I haven't posted very much about that series. It's not really on my website. It's very little on my social media, but that's something that I'm really excited to continue to put out there and build a nice group of paintings that I can eventually put into a show.
So also looking through your website, I see on here, you also do commissions. Is that something that you've been doing for a while or looking to do more
thank
of?
you for bringing that up. Yeah, that's something else that I'm looking forward to getting into. So I also teach, and I do enjoy teaching, but for a while, for the last couple years, teaching has kind of taken over, and I'd like to get back into more creating. So commissions are a really good way for me to get back into creating my own artwork and also have more steady income. I do love doing commissions. I do a lot of pastel commissions. So folks are welcome to go to my website, check out some of the other commissions that I've done on there, and shoot me an email, contact me. Typically with a pastel commission, something that's around 9 inches by 12 inches, I charge $80 per individual depicted.
That's awesome. I'm just looking at this for me, really.
Sure, yeah.
So if people want to find out more, you've kind of mentioned it before, you're on YouTube, you're on the various social medias. What's the best avenue for people to go to?
Yeah, Instagram is always great. I'm on Instagram at my name, Ann Solyst. Reaching out to me through email is going to be great too. So my email is annpaintings@gmail.com. Those are probably the two best. But again, just head over to my website. I have a bunch of links on there. Look around.
Lacrosse Local Podcast is a production of River Travel Media. Do you have an interview idea you'd like to share with us? Message us on Facebook at Lacrosse Local. Find out more about us at lacrosselocal.com, and you can subscribe to the Lacrosse Local Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you like us, rate us 5 stars. We appreciate it.